Hi, welcome. I'm here today to talk to you about a new video series I'm going to do for women. And it's going to be called A Woman for Women. And it's about empowering women, giving women of all ages the knowledge they need to succeed and to feel normal in their lives. I know a lot of women, of course, over the years and of different generations. And some things have come to my knowledge that I think we're never taught about and don't really know about. And it concerns me because there's a whole lot of knowledge about womanhood that is unknown. Now, I don't know if it's just from religious oppression or if it's from, the different wars in Europe. I don't even know if it's just in the USA that these things are not known, or if it's new for many cultures all over the whole world. So I just feel obligated, because of my investigations over the last years about womanhood and birthing and orgasm and all sorts of things, that I feel the need to share this in an official way with you women out there, girls and women, and also the world, and of course any men that want to watch it, because it's important. And I think that there's some information that's gone missing for whatever reason, knowledge that got lost, perhaps when the witch trials were going on. They were perhaps killing off witches who had knowledge about birthing practices and all sorts of things. But anyways, I'm tired of misinformation. And this is my goal, my purpose of these videos will be to get rid of the misinformation and give women the knowledge they need, that we lost somewhere along the line. So this first video is more, well, I don't know where it's going to go. So let me just talk and we'll see how far I get. It's one primarily, I guess, for women of any age, but it's also especially for young women or girls who are just becoming women, who are in the change, maybe having their first period, or maybe they've had a few, but have lots of things that they don't know. So I guess this also stems from lack of information that I was given as a child, and I know how difficult it is a topic to talk about. So I think making it available online by someone is who's a woman and who lived through things, I think it's important to maybe hear it from another voice even. So I did some research just before too about first so orgasms in women, and having an orgasmic birth, and sexuality, and also your first menstrual cycle. So I guess I'm going to start there. But I think first off, a lot of cultures and a lot of religions still put down women a lot, women and girls. And, with Women's Equality Day was just 2 days ago. It's now the 28th of August, 2025. And I think that we don't have equality still in the USA. And this message is especially for, I guess, of course, my daughter is in Switzerland, so it's for her, and also for the U.S. girls, and for any girl or woman who wants to watch. But anyways, we are still being put down. I make comments sometimes on Facebook and other platforms, and I get sometimes the rudest men writing nasty things. And this is unnecessary. I mean, we're human beings. We can talk like human beings together, I think. I don't know. But if somebody gets abusive with you online, it's best to walk away. Don't comment. If you feel the need to comment, try to stay in character and with integrity, whatever your integrity is. I think that's the best thing I can say. But there are a lot of guys out there still wanting to put women down and in our place, somehow making us second-class citizens. And I guess that's where I really need to go. There's a lot of misinformation and oppression of women, our bodies, and how they function. Now, why that is, I don't know, but I gave some possibility of things that happened in the past. But anyways, so first off, I think it's very good and healthy to celebrate a first period, joining the women's club and knowing that your body is functioning properly. It's a celebration of moving into adulthood. And so, yes, I think a first period should be celebrated. How you want to celebrate it, I don't know, but that's up to each and every girl when she becomes a woman, how she wants to celebrate. So I think it is important to celebrate these milestones. And, you can celebrate with whomever you would like, but it's a special time, and it's a good opportunity to talk to your mother or other women around you to get knowledge, and so about life. One thing I have learned over my lifetime is that it's perfectly normal to have your period and then have, a period of time, maybe 3 months, and then you might have another one, or it might be even 6 months, and then you have another one. So starting into womanhood sometimes is a slow process where, you'd never know when your period is going to come. And there's lots of medicines out there that you can take, and there's lots of tools you can use to stop your period from going into your underwear and stuff. Right now, pads are very popular, and if you haven't had sex before, then maybe you're not comfortable putting a tampon in, so you may want to wait to put a tampon in. But just know that with tampons, there's that toxic shock syndrome possibility. So, maximum a tampon should be in for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, something like that. There are some overnight ones. So read the packages and follow the instructions, I guess. And of course, with your first period, you should probably go to a gynecologist once, and go with your family, a female family member, or a guardian or whatever. Go there and make sure you're okay and get whatever advice you have. I am not a medical doctor, so I'm not a gynecologist, so I cannot tell you 100% what to do and what to use and all of this. So that's where the gynecologists come in to play. I do recommend going to a female gynecologist, and I do when you're underage, you should always take an adult with you, if you can. If you can, definitely take an adult. So one thing that I've learned is that periods, or actually when your body is ready to release the blood that's inside of you that was waiting for an egg to arrive that didn't arrive, when it releases, the cervix has to open just slightly, and that's what those period cramps are. It's the cervix opening. And when the cervix opens, it's especially the first couple of times, it can be quite painful, I think. And then ultimately, it's a pain that you get used to, and it's so that ultimately if you ever get pregnant, that pain is the pain you'll feel again when you go into labor. So it's nature preparing you for the birthing process. So it's not anything bad. It means your body is functioning, and it means that these are things to recognize when eventually you might be pregnant and going into labor. So that's the pain you'll feel at the beginning, and then as the cervix opens, it gets more painful. But there's something called orgasm, which can be used to minimize the pain and relieve pressure. And so orgasm is, for females, is somewhat similar to what men do, but we don't ejaculate when we orgasm. And we have a much smaller penis, if you want to call it. But actually, technically, men have an oversized clitoris because women have a clitoris, and since all babies are actually female, so that means all body parts are female and then get changed, that the males have a large oversized clitoris. But that's just my term for it. Most people just call it a clitoris, and that's the clitoris is what's on a woman, and it's roughly in the same spot as where a penis would be. And if you massage it in various ways, like stroking or going in a circle around or on top and moving back and forth over it, after a certain amount of time with a certain amount of pressure, I mean, you'll have to learn, this is about you learning about your body. Once you do that, you should be able to achieve an orgasm within 5 to maybe 10 minutes. And by orgasming, all the nerves in that area get sort of activated, and blood flows there, and then this energy burst happens, and then you have muscle contractions, which help to, I think, move the menstrual cycle along, or so the opening of the cervix along, and it takes away the pain and the pressure. So I highly recommend, for health purposes, to definitely, as you feel this uncomfortableness of your menstrual cycle coming on, that you try an orgasm to alleviate pain. And maybe it'll do the trick, and then you don't need any medicines. So one thing I've learned over the years is that our bodies are very magical, and they can heal themselves. And we have a lot of mechanisms for dealing with pain and pleasure and all the points in between. So rather than turn to drugs, I'm very much into the natural way of using what my body has to get me from point A to point B, or in this case, to overcome pain or feeling of uneasiness or whatever. And even as far as normal life goes, when you're not having your menstrual cycle, or just before that, when you're having those uncomfortable days, um, having occasionally an orgasm that you give yourself when you feel it's right, when you have private time, I think it's healthy. It's healthy for the vaginal area, for the fluids there. It tightens up your muscles down there and helps with the pelvic floor. And so I highly recommend it. Plus it releases endorphins and other things into your body, where you feel less stress. And we are all living in a very stressful time. So I do recommend having at least 1 to 2 orgasms a week once you become of an age where this might be needed. And orgasming is a private thing. It shouldn't be done out in the open. Although, I cannot say maybe at a future time it would be an acceptable thing to do. But I think current times are, it's best to do it privately at home and in a private place. And each one of us can achieve an orgasm in whatever way we can. So I think, whatever age you are, experiment. See what works best for you and give it a try. I think you will feel much more relaxed and relieved, and it's healthy, so your body will be healthier. And it's just good for overall nerve control and mental states. So I think this is something that is often frowned upon, especially in religions. They say don't have orgasms, especially don't have it outside of sex. And I don't know why that is. It could be that, maybe even before like the Bible and the Talmud and all of these books were ever written, maybe it's been so long that women haven't known about orgasm, or clitoral orgasm. So I think now that we're learning about it and we know more, I think it's time to really use it and enter a new stage of womanhood. I think that's the best way to put it. So, yeah, religion. If you are religious, I'm going to say it is okay. So I know that in the Bible, I think it says that men should not spill their seed, but that's for men. It doesn't say anything about women, and by having an orgasm, you're not spilling any seed. So it's really, for those who are religious, it's okay to have an orgasm. And if I did not clearly state enough for you how to achieve one, there are lots of videos out there now on YouTube where you can watch and get advice. And I know I've posted some in the past too. So if you Google my name and then you Google orgasm, you'll probably get 1 or 2 videos that I've already posted too. Because it's important. I don't know why this information was hidden for so long, and I don't know why religions are so oppressive to women. And so this video, this new series I'm doing, A Woman for Women, is a little bit to fight the oppression of religion on women and what men think that we should be allowed to do. So I don't know who you are who's watching, but if that speaks to you, you're your own woman. So you decide if that is in line with you and your religion or not. But I do highly recommend at least once a week having an orgasm. And you don't need a man. You don't need a sexual partner. Truthfully, I think that female orgasm actually doesn't have a lot to do with sex. So intercourse or penetration, whatever you want to call it. But that'll be for a different video. On the other hand, it does make it more pleasurable, and it does help to lubricate. But like I said, I'll talk about that another time. So the one thing that is also something that came out recently that we now know, and that is this hymen thing. There was always this proof of virginity, and being a virgin is also a very religious thing that is not it's just a very strange thing to want virgins, and you want somebody who is confident, who knows what they're doing. So I'm not really advocating keeping your virginity, but I'm also not saying go out and sleep around with many people either. But I think if you're curious and you have someone who you feel safe with, and they're curious too, and you're of the right age for each other, then there's nothing wrong with exploring sexuality. However, you need to feel safe in what you're doing. But there's this thing that used to be called the hymen, that was like some sort of proof that somebody was a virgin, and it's been deemed misinformation now. There is no such thing as a hymen. It does not exist. And there's only one way to know if a woman has really had sex or a girl has had sex, and that is to ask if they have. So there's no special skin. It's all a lie. I don't know how it got there. I guess the doctors of the day felt they were like gods, and they could destroy a woman or save a woman, or a girl, I should say, depending on what they said, which is really sad that they would have so much power. And of course, in the past, there were only male doctors, so this was a very powerful position to have, I suppose. But now we know that there is no hymen, and there's no way to prove from looking at a vagina if there has been intercourse. I mean, of course, if it just happened, there probably is a way. But if it was, a year ago, I don't think it's probably seeable. Although I am not a medical doctor myself, I will say that what I have found out over the last years, and what's come out from medical doctors, is there is no hymen. So there's no need to check for a hymen, because there is no hymen. And, I wanted to cover more, but I think that's enough for right now. So, just to backtrack, orgasm is healthcare. It keeps you healthy inside and out. It utilizes your muscles and your nerves in a way that can only be done in this way. So I really recommend it. And it's good to know your own body, especially if you maybe are thinking about getting into a relationship too. It's good to know how to explain what you like in your body, so that your potential lover, or whatever you want to call them, could also participate in helping you achieve your orgasm. Okay, so I think that's enough for now. I am Susan Maude, and that is my talk for today. I think next time I want to talk about the choices that we have as women to be working, to be a wife, or to be a mother. Because you don't have to be all of them, and not one is connected to the other. It's all a choice. So that's what we'll talk about next time. And then we'll talk about intercourse and some other issues. So I guess that's about it for now. I wish you a healthy period of time until we get together again. I guess I'll make these on the 8s. I was trying to do something else outside of what I'm already doing with my art and with my political campaign. And so this is my move to help women feel normal and extraordinary. So take care of yourself until next time, and I'll see you on the 8th. All right. Have a good day. Good night, wherever you are. Bye for now.